So I have another question for you, Cheryl.
Yes.
Are you bored of the podcast? Because I know you like new things and new shiny things, and you like to go from one thing to the next thing.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, we're a year in.
So every time we record, I love it. It is fascinating and like it keeps being good, you know?
Yep.
Because that's why I love our podcast, is because like we keep hearing different people's travel stories.
Right.
So that's the new that I love. There are times when I'm editing. Well, actually, no. Once I start editing, it's also very fun to like re-listen. And it's fun to make it good, you know, like cut out the weird sounds and, you know, like figure out.
I don't know what you're talking about. We never have weird sounds.
And then, but there are times when like the deadlines are the part I don't like, you know, where it's like, oh, I have to edit before Sunday. Like, I don't have time right now, but like, I mean, I have time, but like, I don't want to have time, you know? And so, and part of that is that, like, I feel like I'm living in two places right now.
Sure.
So I think that makes it difficult because it's not a laptop, it's a desktop. So, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and for me, it's similar. I think you and I have talked about this before. I often will be at work and, oh my gosh, I got to leave. I got to get home so I can have dinner before we record. I'm like, ugh, I just want to sit and not do anything, and I don't want to record. I'm so tired. And then we get a guest on, and it's amazing, and I love it.
Yep.
So I totally understand that.
Totally, yeah. So I'm happy we're still doing it. It's good.
Yes, me too.
Let's not get divorced.
No podcast divorce.
To India and Ireland, round Africa and back again. We don't really need to know just where we'll go. Maybe Canada, then to Brazil, then through the Alpine foothills. All I really want to know is, can we go? Oh baby, can we go? Round and around the globe.
Welcome to Take Me With You, episode 53. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Cheryl. We are two well-traveled people who want to go everywhere.
But that's not going to happen. So instead, we'll travel vicariously by inviting a guest to share their unique travel stories with us.
Except for today, it's just us.
Just us.
Because it's our anniversary.
Yay! Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. I don't know anniversary songs. I could sing you happy birthday, but with happy anniversary.
Yeah, I don't know if there are a lot of anniversary songs, and I think there's a reason for it. How many people really love the birthday song?
I do. But I like the other birthday songs more because they're faster and they're more fun to sing in a group. Because whenever a group sings happy birthday, it becomes depressing.
Oh, yeah.
It starts in a weird
like,
key. It's too
always.
slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. So that's why other ones
Although
are
I
good.
will say my mom's side of the family are all very musical. So when that family gets together, it actually usually sounds really good.
Nice. That's fun.
I will also share that me and my two siblings, because, okay, this is way more detail than you need and is not related to travel whatsoever, but I'm going to tell you the story anyway. So my grandparents, so my mom's parents, very musical, raised a family with both singing and instruments, and like my grandma plays the organ and, you know, all sorts of great stuff. My grandpa like led one of the Salvation Army bands that they would play like around like Christmas time, like a brass band. I think he played trumpet and a few other things, I think. So anyway, very, very talented. And whenever they sing happy birthday, like they usually call on my birthday, right? And then they will harmonize at the very end.
Like Michael Scott.
No, they will actually harmonize. But me and my siblings, when we call each other on our birthdays, we harmonize like Michael Scott. And we intentionally harmonize terribly because we can't do it like my grandparents can.
I love that. Do you want to hear my favorite birthday song?
Sure.
Okay, just pretend that you're someone who does not want me to sing to you in public on your birthday.
So be myself.
Yes,
Got it.
Be yourself.
Yep.
This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Oh, that's nice. I actually like that one. I don't like the way it starts. It starts pretty painfully.
Yes, but that's what's fun is like you're buckling in, and then you're like, oh, thank God it's over. It's a surprise early ending. It's like when you get out of a meeting 30 minutes early, and you're like, oh, that
Does
was
that
nice.
happen?
Sometimes. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I have a day of meetings tomorrow. There's
Gross.
actually no school tomorrow, and I get to sit in meetings all day.
That's gross. Hopefully they end 6 hours early.
Okay. Hey,
Well,
Cheryl.
Here we are. Hey, what?
We've been doing this podcast for a year.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Can you believe it?
Awesome. It's fun.
I mean, we could consider this the beginning of season 2.
Yes. This is the start of season 2.
That's crazy.
I know. It's very cool. Yeah. It's cool that it's sustainable. So that's good.
Yeah. Did you think we would make it this long?
Yes, I did. But
Okay,
I had
me
a
too.
podcast for 2 years. So, I feel
That's true.
like it just kind of got in the habit of having a podcast. I think
As
we
one
should.
does.
So I think we should tell the story of how Take Me With You began.
Okay.
Do you
You
remember?
may need to help remind me.
Okay, I remember, so I will start it.
No, I do remember. I do remember parts of it at least.
Yeah.
Because I was on your podcast.
Yes. You
Your
came
first
on
podcast.
Old Maids,
Old
my
Maids.
first podcast, which is now
Mhm.
retired.
Yep.
And
I think it was the second time that I had been on
you
your
came
podcast.
on May the 4th, about a year and a half ago.
That is a good day.
Yes.
If you're listening and you have no idea why it's a good day, May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day.
And also with you.
Uh-huh.
And then around that same time, I was a guest on the wonderful podcast Wedding Confessionals.
Right.
And while I was
right.
on that podcast, we had a side conversation that was about how I love planning trips.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooke, who's been on our podcast, said that I should plan a trip for her. And I was like, I will. And then she was like, well, that's a podcast right there where you have on a guest and you plan a trip for them. And I was like, okay. So that episode hadn't come out yet. And then you were visiting me and you were saying, oh my gosh, I just had so much fun as a guest on your podcast.
Mhm.
It was very fun. And I was like, I know, right? Podcasting's really fun. And then I was telling you the story about how this idea that Brooke had, and as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, and you should do it with me. And you were like, okay. And I think I'm someone who can make a decision pretty quickly and be genuinely satisfied with that decision. Like I know what I think about things really quickly. You are not that way.
No.
However, for me, I also can overcommit.
Well, I can
So-
do that too.
Yeah. So I think both of us were really excited. And then we're also like, let's not commit to this now.
Yeah.
And so then we sat with it for a little bit. It was also the start of the summer. And I was working at a camp at the time. And so my summer was going to be crazy. So it was like, let's see how we're doing towards the end of the summer. If we still want to do this, And we also didn't know, like, okay, it's about travel. That's not specific enough.
Right.
And what's the format, what's it's called or anything. And so
Yeah.
then we realized very quickly that we did not want to plan trips for people on a regular basis because that would involve a lot of work before even recording. And we're like, yeah, we don't have time for that. We really
So
don't.
let me just clarify. It's not that we don't want to plan trips for people on a regular basis. It's that we don't have time.
Yes.
Because I think both you and I would very much enjoy doing that.
Oh my gosh, yes. So really we should just quit our jobs and become travel agents because although we can't pick
That's
our
still
customers
really
as well,
a job that way?
I
Like,
mean,
is it
I
still-
have a travel agent, so
Yeah, but like how common is that anymore?
I don't know. So we were like, okay, that's not sustainable. And then also we were like, we can't do this on our own because our stories will run out so quickly.
Right.
Because we're not traveling all year long,
No.
So that's when we realized we really needed guests. And we're like, what if guests provided the content? Then we don't have to
Right.
prepare.
Right. But that was also one of the things that we talked about being one of the challenges was can we get enough guests
You
to
were
do a
so
podcast?
nervous. You were very nervous. And I
You
was
were
like,
not?
oh no.
Oh gosh.
I was like, we know people, and then those people know people.
Yeah.
And that's happened a couple times. That'll happen a lot more, I think, now in year 2 is where we're reaching out to the friends of friends.
Right.
So we knew we wanted to do that. And then we also did a lot of looking at other travel podcasts. And I think one thing that we realized is that most travel podcasts focus on a theme of travel or like a similarity that they have in travel. And we realized that people travel for such different reasons and have such different experiences that they want and styles. And so that's where we decided, let's talk about the differences then. Let's talk about the diversity in all these different ways that people travel as opposed to like a theme on travel.
Right.
And that was around the time when you thought we should call it Travel with Style, which I still really like that title. But then we were like, no, it sounds like a fashion podcast.
It does. Yeah. We're like, it's just not going to communicate what we want it to.
Yes.
Well, and then you remember the other thing we wanted to call it?
Come
Can we
Fly
say
With
this?
Me.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
we really wanted to use that. Was it a Frank Sinatra song?
Yes. And we thought that would be really
Was our theme
fun.
song?
Yes.
And we looked at all the copyright stuff. Was like, nope, we can't do that.
Yeah, and then also I think something existed called Come Fly With Me. And then we briefly talked about calling it Wish You Were Here, which we ended up just calling one of our segments Wish You Were Here
Right.
because I think there's something out there called Wish You Were Here. So finally we were, I think we were on the phone while I was driving for like a couple hours, like brainstorming all these things. And then I was like, what are travel phrases? What are the things that people say? And one of the things that came up was take me with you, because whenever either of us plan a trip, all of our friends are like, take me with you. I want to come. And so then we're like, well, that's perfect because we're going to be jealous of our guests like all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then we decided to start with interviewing each other, and I think that was good. And then right after that, we recorded the episode where I planned my trip to Spain because that was coming up very quickly.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Because
then
you were about to leave.
yeah, and then I went on the trip, and then we did the trip report, and then we recorded episodes like 3 through 7 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because we recorded our first 2 episodes in August.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because it was before you were leaving for Spain and before I started school. And we knew you were going to be in Spain for, I think, 3 weeks in September, and I was going to do school. And September is just dead. Like all social life is dead during September for a teacher. And so we decided, hey, you know what? We can start recording, see if it's working. Is it going to, and again, maybe this was more me I'm learning right now. Maybe I was more being like, we'll just see if this is actually enough to really sustain a podcast and really do something or not.
Yeah.
And then we were able to get enough other interviews and stuff to start releasing in November.
Yeah. And here we are.
Cool.
And you were
Here we
gone for a month this summer, so we had to like
Yep.
do some 2-a-days or 2-a-weeks
Yep. Not
to get
2
ready
days.
for that. Well, we did a couple where we did 2 travel tips episodes in one night.
That's true. You and I did. That's true.
We'd never
Yep.
do that with guests. And then
Yep.
we're going to have to do that. We're doing that right now because I'm going to be gone for like a lot of December.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where are you going, Cheryl?
I'm going to Europe. I'm so excited. Which I think we've talked about so many times by now. One of our most recent guests asked us what our next trip was, and we're like, can you ask us something else? Because we've answered it too many times now.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
people are like, we know. Everybody but your guest knows this information.
Yep.
And here we are, a year later.
Here we are, a year later.
Yay.
Yep. So I think one thing that could be kind of fun, Cheryl, that you and I have talked about a little bit is as a way to kind of look back on the last year is see some statistics.
Nothing
From
is
the
more
show.
fun than statistics. Nothing.
Okay. All right.
Gets-
So let's make it a game then. Can we do that?
Okay. Yes. Because Mary Poppins says for every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Just find the fun and snap. The job's a game. So
You actually have to have. No, you didn't pause. It's find the fun and snap. The job's a game.
oh, there we go. Yes.
Right,
that's
you got to have the
wonderful.
timing right there, Cheryl.
Yes. Thank you.
So I just figure, I mean, it's not like a great, amazing game. But we could sort of guess some of these things.
I would like to start by guessing how many episodes we've done. My guess is 52.
Okay, I'm going to guess more than 51.
Oh, wait.
And
No.
less than...
It's 53 because we did like a promo episode.
Does that count as an episode, though?
I mean, we did release it. It was 1 minute long, though, too. So
That's true.
I don't know.
Wow, I don't even know what that was. We should probably go back and update that at some point,
yep.
don't you think?
Probably should.
That was probably one of the first things we recorded. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Listeners,
It got
don't go back and
real
listen to it.
cheesy. It got very cheesy. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. So we have, if you don't count this episode, and if you don't count the promo, we've released 52 episodes.
Okay, which stats did you want us to guess?
I mean, that one's fine. How about how many guests have we had?
Well, it's not 52 because we've skipped guests some weeks with the travel
But
tips
we've also
episodes.
had some weeks where we've had more than one guest.
Yeah, because the travel tips episodes, and then when we've planned a trip or done a trip report, we have not had a guest. I'm going to guess. Do you have your guess in your head? I don't want to say mine out loud.
No, I don't.
Oh. I don't want to do Prices Right where you like go one.
Well, that was going to be
under
my
nine.
question. Are we going to use Prices Right rules or just closest?
Then we've had one guess. That's my guess. Wait, that doesn't work when I guess first.
I think we should just closest. I mean, it's
my guess is 42.
okay, and I was thinking in the 40s as well.
33 guess. That's pretty cool,
33 guests.
though.
Yep.
I like it.
Okay. How many Wish You Were Here's have been
Okay.
on the podcast?
My guess is 120.
Okay, and I'm saying 130.
The real answer is 137.
137.
Good job. You got pretty close. That's a lot of places.
That is a
wonder
lot of
I'm always
places.
like antsy now. No, I was antsy before. Let's be real.
Yeah. Wow. That's more than I thought.
That's
yeah,
cool.
we've talked about a lot of places. Okay, so then that leads into kind of the next stat, since you really
Okay.
love the word statistic.
Love
Apparently.
those stats. Stats
Gotta
on
love those
stats.
Yep. Which would be how many different countries has our podcast been to? Now, you've cheated on this question, Cheryl.
Yes, but not successfully.
What does that mean?
Okay, so here's the deal. I started a map that's kind of like that Ben app, but it's this website called traveltip.org.
Okay.
And I started marking off, you can click on what countries you've been to. But
Mm-hmm.
the problem was sometimes they were ones that were just from Wish You Were Here's, but I didn't get every Wish You Were Here. And I don't know if I got every travel story.
So you were inconsistent, is what you're saying.
Yes. So there's a number on there, but it's based on my memory from just things people have talked about on the podcast. So I think we need to post that map. But first of all, we need to decide if the Wish You Were Here's count. I want them to count.
Well, apparently we have 137 different Wish You Were Here's. Now, some of those are going to be
A
from
lot
the
of
same
them are in the
countries.
US, yeah.
Right. So we've got a lot of US ones.
Yeah.
We've got we're going to have fewer countries than that. But so you think we should count those because they're places we've been on our podcast?
Yes. What do you think?
I'm okay with that. I just think we need to.
However, I think
Oh.
for this question, we should not count those. I think we should just say, like, based on the stories, how many countries
okay.
has our podcast been to? Because it's
Okay.
going to be way too hard to figure out all those Wish You Were Here's right now.
Okay. So if we had 33 guests,
Uh-huh.
right? Is that what we determined?
Yes.
Right? So if we had 33 guests
Yes.
and
Plus
they each
us.
went to a different country,
Uh-huh.
but some of them went to the same countries as
And,
each other.
and you and I went to places.
And we went to places, some of which were the same. Like, how many? Okay, here's a little side one. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
How many different times has our podcast been to Spain?
Hold on. You want me to figure that out?
Well, make your guess first.
Oh, 7.
Okay, I was going to guess
That's my
5.
guess.
So
Okay,
somewhere
let's see.
around there, yeah.
8.
Okay.
Yeah. We've talked about Spain a lot more than 8 times, but it's
Yes,
been like
for sure.
featured on 8 episodes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, so now we're guessing how many countries has our podcast been to, not counting Wish You Were Here.
Not counting Wish You Were Here's.
Okay. 50.
I think it's lower than that. If we're not counting Wish You Were Here's, because we had some repeats.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 35.
Okay. All right. I
So
think
what's
we
the
have our
results?
answer. So our podcast has been to at least 40 countries. So good job.
We can't be more specific than that?
Well, Jill in episode 7 went to 13 countries, but some of those were overlap with our guests, and there were like varying levels that she talked about them. And also, this would involve me going back and listening to all of our episodes to remember the other things. So our country's been to at least 40 countries.
Our podcast has been to at least 40
What did I
countries.
say?
Our country has been to at
Oh.
least 40 countries.
Our country's only been to one country.
That's true.
Our podcast has been to at least 40 countries. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, look at that.
Now, how many continents do you think? Top of your head, go fast.
4.
6. I looked, but it was 6.
Oh, really? Antarctica is the only one that we haven't been to?
Yes. Well, Australia has been talked about in the Wish You Were Here's.
Yes.
Yes. So if you talk
Yes.
about, if you include Wish You Were Here's, we've been to all the continents but Antarctica.
Wow, look
and
at
then
us.
someday I will go to Antarctica, and then I will share about it. So
If you go to Antarctica and you do not take me with you, there will be words, Cheryl.
that would actually be a really fun group trip, because I've heard cruises are fun with groups, because at some points you just kind of get bored.
Yep.
So it's like fun to hang out with people and then kind of have your own downtime too.
Yep.
And I'm sure we could get other people, but we're going to have to like save for a while.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
expensive.
Well, and then here's the other part, at least for me personally, and this is going to be probably make it even more expensive. And I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when I go to Antarctica, I must go on whatever the tour, whatever thing is that lets me actually set foot. I do not just want to go by on a boat and see it. I want to actually walk on, whether it's ice or land or whatever. I actually want to be there.
Yes, I am the same, but for a different reason.
It's
Well,
because you want to get up close in person with the penguins.
yes, I do. I want to see the penguins.
You're wearing a penguin shirt right now, too.
Yeah. This is from Penguin Coffee in Anacortes, which I have not done a Wish You Were Here about. It's actually just a normal coffee shop, but I bought a shirt because it had a penguin. There's a giant penguin outside of it, though. There you go. That's my Wish You Were Here. Cool. All right. Well, I think we should move on.
I think you're right.
I have a couple fun quizzes for you, Ryan.
Quizzes?
Yes.
But I haven't studied.
Yeah, and if it's just fun stats, now we have fun quizzes.
These like
So-
BuzzFeed quizzes, that type of thing?
Yeah, kind of like that. So there's a question that we ask on our podcast a lot. We've asked this question probably 33 times. Is what kind of traveler are you?
Uh-huh.
So I Googled quiz, what kind of traveler are you? And here is a BuzzFeed quiz for you. There
Now,
are some other
have
ones
you
too.
taken this already, Cheryl?
No, I have not seen this. I am opening this tab for the first time. So,
Okay.
should we do this? Let's do this just for you, and then I'll just say if I'm the same or not. How about that?
Okay.
We could both say our answers, but I'll click your
Yeah.
answers. Yeah. So, when traveling, you find that you have the most interaction with the concierge at your hotel, everyone you
No.
come in contact with, the wait staff at restaurants.
Those are the only options?
Yes.
I guess the wait staff at restaurants,
Yeah, I'm the same.
given those options.
Yeah. Okay, the best places to stay. And there are 4 photos with captions below. So one
Okay.
of it is like a nice looking hotel room, and it says have all white bedding.
Ooh.
Another one is like Times Square, and it says our downtown.
Okay.
Another one is are in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a cabin on top of a rock in the middle of a lake.
Does it look like there's electricity in the cabin?
Hard to tell.
Okay.
And the last one is are with locals, and it's a little like apartment.
Probably the are with locals then, I guess, given those options.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I think different for me than for you.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yay, I get to meet new people and get to experience things. And I'm like, well, I don't like any of the other options.
Oh, yeah. I think the local experience is pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. I definitely do. But if it's like a total stranger local, I think you'd be way more ready to jump on that than I would.
Yes, that's true. All right, here's another one. My favorite view is of... You're not going to like any of these either.
Oh, good.
The
Great.
beach, city lights, the spa, my plate. You can guess my answer. We could put my answer.
Your answer would be your plate. That's easy.
Yep. What's your answer? One of the first two.
What was the second one?
City lights.
I guess city lights.
Yeah, out of those options.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my ideal climate is, there's four options here. Mild so that I can comfortably check out all the sights. Sometimes the rain makes for more of an adventure. It doesn't really matter. I'll be inside most of the time anyway. I like it hot so I can spend all my day at the beach.
Ugh. No, the first one.
The mild, yeah. I knew that was going to be yours.
That's definitely it. Yep.
Yeah. When
and I don't mind the rain, but when I'm traveling,
yeah,
it's less
more
ideal.
of a nuisance. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's time to eat, I head straight for the nearest hole in the wall, my bookmarks on Yelp or TripAdvisor, somewhere the concierge recommends, locals who look like they could make a good recommendation.
In that case, again, none of those are what actually happens. I would probably go... It's like 50-50 between the concierge one and like the locals. Because I'm not going to just go ask some random person.
Yeah.
But I definitely would probably just ask
opportunity.
somebody else's opinion. And if that means that I'm in a hotel and there's a concierge, I would ask them.
Yeah. So which one would you want me to put?
I just think probably the one that is closer in line with what my actual personality is probably the concierge one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
I think I would say the locals one or the hole in the wall one. Those would be mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part of travel is the food, the people, the sights, the adventure.
The sights.
Yep. There you go.
And
All
for you,
right.
it's the food.
Do you want to know what you got?
What did I get, Cheryl?
You got the Explorer. You are a true explorer. From the history to the culture, your bucket list is full of the great sights and experiences of the world.
Except not so much the history. It should say the science and the culture.
Oh.
That's not generally an option.
All right. Here's another quiz for you, Ryan.
Okay.
You know, we talk a lot. This is another question that we ask on our podcast.
Oh, perfect.
A lot. Where should your next vacation be? We say, what's your next trip?
What's your next trip? Yep.
But I want to know. So I'm going to give you some options. All right. So, Ryan, would you like a quiz from BuzzFeed, a quiz from thequiz.com, or a quiz from the Travel Channel?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like we got to do a BuzzFeed quiz, don't we?
Well, I just gave you a BuzzFeed quiz, but...
Oh, that one was a BuzzFeed quiz. Then in that case, let's do the Travel Channel.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so here we are. The question from this one is, what bucket list trip should you take? Is their quiz.
Bucket list trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how do you prefer to spend your free time? Hiking the tallest mountain you can find, sipping wine and getting lost in a good book, people watching at a farmer's market, relaxing at the spa, or camping with your family? Out of those, you're going to be the farmer's market.
What does it say about the farmer's market?
People watching at the farmer's market.
Yeah. I do enjoy people watching. That is fun.
Okay. Let's see. What's your biggest concern when planning a trip?
Ooh.
safety, budget, internet access, time, or your fear of flying?
Well, it's not my fear of flying because I'm not afraid of flying. Budget is a pretty big one for me.
Okay.
Oftentimes. What can you say the first couple again?
Safety, budget.
No, it's not safety.
Internet access, time.
It's either, it's going to either be budget or time because I feel like they're two sides of the same coin where you have, they're both the limited resource.
Yeah, what can you afford to do? But do you feel like the what can you afford to do comes down more to budget or time? What limits you
what's the
more?
question? What's the original?
What's your biggest concern
question?
when planning a trip?
My biggest concern, the limiting factor is probably budget.
Okay.
I don't know that means it's my biggest concern per se, but
Sure.
that's the thing that like limits things.
All right, here's the next
Most of the
question.
time.
What gives you the biggest rush?
Ooh.
5 options here. Seeing an incredible sunrise, skydiving,
No.
observing animals in the wild, witnessing world-class art, or tasting a delicious meal from a Michelin-starred restaurant.
Oh, that's animals all the way, no question.
Yep, I thought so.
Animals
I
in the
could
wild,
just take
for
this
sure.
for you. All right. What's
You could
the
probably take it
perfect
for me and
way-
know it faster than I would.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't need to analyze it quite as much.
Exactly.
What's the perfect way to spend a day? All right, so these are specifics. It's giving you specifics.
And this is while
ideas.
traveling.
Yes, while traveling.
Okay.
Seeing the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona,
It is on my list.
visiting an elephant sanctuary in Thailand,
So far, both things that have been on our podcast.
kayaking down the Grand Canyon,
Oh.
drinking wine at a Napa Valley vineyard, or chasing waterfalls and getting the best landscape photographs. Those all sound like a great day to me. I'm in. When are we going?
I think I'm going to have to go with La Sagrada Familia
All right.
on that one because I haven't been there yet. It's on my list.
Yep.
I
All
don't
right.
really
Here's
drink
another
wine.
question that's really good. The main reason you travel is to escape day-to-day life and responsibilities,
Yep, that's why I bring my students with me.
get your adrenaline pumping,
Get my adrenaline pumping. Okay.
see as much of nature's beauty as possible,
Mm.
create memories with your friends and family,
Mm.
or learn about other cultures through art, fashion, food, and architecture.
Well, not the last one because that's not the way I want to learn about other cultures.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the nature one.
because there were two of them that were right next to each other.
Creating memories with friends and family.
Yeah. And what's the nature one?
Seeing as much of nature's beauty as possible.
Gosh, that's tricky between seeing the nature's beauty as much of it and then the friends and family because I want to do it with people.
Uh-huh. I get
But
that.
if it's
yeah.
just making memories just in general, yeah, you think you're right. It's probably the nature one. Like I said, you can do it faster than me.
Yep. I should just tell you about this.
You should just.
All
tell me
right.
what
What's
it
your
is.
ideal lodging situation? A luxury hotel, a yurt, under the stars, a quaint bed and breakfast, a tree house.
Oh, but under the stars probably means like camping.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Probably the luxury hotel. I'm spoiled.
All right. With whom will you be traveling?
My students. That's probably not an option.
No, it's not. All right. Here you go. Your options are yourself, your significant other, your BFF, your whole family, or the new friends you meet along the way.
BFF.
There you go. All right. Your ideal climate is sunny and hot,
No.
warm and breezy, mild, occasionally rainy, changing
Mild.
every 5 minutes.
Mild.
We knew that one.
Yep.
What drink are you most likely to order?
Oh gosh.
It's none of them.
I was
can't
gonna say,
pick
are they
none
all
of them.
alcoholic?
They're all alcoholic. Okay,
Yeah.
so Ryan, if
Which
you
one
were
has the least
forced-
amount of alcohol in it?
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think of what would be most interesting to you.
Well, read
So
off the
it's-
drink names.
It's wine, pisco sour, beer, vodka or mimosa. And I'm thinking you're either the pisco sour because it's an interesting drink that actually was shared about on our podcast, the chili episode.
Yeah, I remember
or
that.
the mimosa because there's juice in it.
Yep, it's going to be one of those two. Let's go with the pisco sour because there's a cool story with it.
There you go. Are you ready for your results?
I'm so ready, Cheryl.
Oh, well, it's blocked. I got like a pop-up that was blocked instantly. Ryan, this is very funny. This is very funny.
Okay.
I don't think they got it right.
Okay, what are they telling me?
What's your guess?
You got to remind me what
they're telling you.
the point was
The
of
bucket
this.
list trip. What's your bucket list trip you should take?
What's the bucket list trip I should take? And you're laughing like crazy, saying it's not even close. I don't know. Where would they tell me to go?
Pack your bags for Paris.
Oh.
The City of Light offers incredible food, shopping, and art museums. Pack your chicest outfits and get ready to visit the iconic spots like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Notre Dame, and more.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
All
no, that's...
Nope. All right. Well, Ryan, you're in luck because I do have some more things for you. We're not going to go with quizzes, though. I'm just going to read you a couple lists that I thought you might like.
Well, okay, but before that, I actually have a quiz for you, Cheryl.
You do? Yes, I
do.
love taking quizzes. Okay.
So this one's a little bit different. It is related to travel, but this was the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about you, which is what country should you actually live in?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right?
Because I would live in a different country. So,
you totally would. And so it's travel related, but okay, so I have no idea how good this is going to be. So here's the first question. And there are 4 possible responses.
Okay.
But for some reason it says hint in the corner. I'm not sure how you would have a hint if it's your opinion. But do you love adventure? More than anything? Very much? No? Kinda.
I like how one of them is just
No.
I'm either the kinda or the one above.
Very
kinda.
much? Okay, next question. Are you good at high altitudes? Love them? Hate them? Can't deal with that? I don't mind either way.
I don't mind either way.
Okay. What is the best temperature? Very hot or very cold, but nothing between. Stiflingly hot all the time. Cool and pleasant. Varied.
Varied.
Okay.
Because my answer is 70 degrees, but they didn't give me that.
Yep,
question.
I agree with that. How much clothing do you like to wear? Huge amounts, not much, layers, depends on my mood.
Depends on my mood.
I think that's reasonable for you. How dangerous do you like it?
Oh boy.
Lethal. Okay. Risky-ish. Not at all. Somewhat, depending on whether I email the wrong person.
What are they referring to, like scams or something? I mean, I would be willing to deal with danger, but I don't like danger. So should I say not at all?
Yeah, I think for you would want not at all.
Yeah. Like I would be willing, but I don't want it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Do you want to build something from the ground up? That's all I want. I'd love that. Probably. No thanks.
No thanks.
Does chaos bother you? I love it. I can deal with it. I hate it. I dislike it.
I can deal with it.
How do you feel about authoritarianism? I don't feel strongly. I dislike it. I hate it. I love it.
Secret option number 5. I don't understand what it is.
So authoritarian is like it's a type of government. So where, like, think dictator.
Okay. I mean, I don't want. No.
So is that dislike it or hate it?
Hate it.
Okay. What language do you want an excuse to learn?
Yee, that's fun.
Arabic, Swahili, Gaelic, Mandarin.
Which one is Gaelic?
Gaelic, well, there's actually 2 different types of Gaelic. Well, there might be more than that, but I know of at least 2. And those are kind of the indigenous languages in Scotland and in Ireland.
Mandarin is very hard.
Yes.
My sister Lisa just said the other day that she wished that she was raised bilingual with English and Mandarin because it's so hard to learn as an adult, and she feels like it'd be so useful. Let's do Gaelic. That sounds like a fun time.
Okay. What drink do you like best?
All of them.
Water, soda, beer, baijiu. I have no idea what this is. Baijiu.
It's Chinese.
Okay.
It's a liquor. Beer.
Okay. Where would you like to vacation relatively easily?
Oh.
So from this location. Turkey, the Maldives, Norway, Australia.
This is a very leading question.
Yep.
Norway.
Okay. What sort of architecture do you enjoy? Beautiful white and golden stone, lovely ranch-like homes, cute cottages, soaring skyscrapers.
The first one.
Beautiful and white golden stone. Okay. Can you live without unfettered access to the internet? I prefer it. I can deal. Not a bit. If required, but I don't like it.
If required, but I don't like it.
Okay. Do you want to feel like you are on the cusp of something new? All the time. Most of the time. Sometimes, no.
Sometimes.
Okay. How important is voting to you? Not much. Fairly. Intensely. I hate voting. It sucks.
Not much.
Okay. How do you feel about infrastructure?
This is like a legit quiz.
I know.
That's cool.
And it keeps going, too. Who needs it? I want to design some. I like it already built, please. And I want to see it springing up all around me.
Already built, please.
Yep.
I wonder if you said no to all these, if they would say stay home.
Which trade route do you think is the best one to live near? The Suez, Indian Ocean, the Channel, or the Pacific Rim?
I don't care about trade routes.
So which one of those things is you would rather live by separate from trade?
I don't know. What channel?
I think that's the British
English
channel.
channel?
English
Yeah, I knew
channel,
that
that's the
one.
word. Yeah. British, English, whatever. What sort of home do you want to live in? A stone house, a ranch house, a loft, or a farmhouse?
Ooh, a loft.
What sort of job do you do? I'm an arms dealer, and I'm not sorry. Solar industry, exporter, writer.
Out of those,
Yup.
the closest one is a writer.
Okay. What healthcare system do you like? None at all. Skeletal. Good if you can afford it. Amazingly good and free.
Oh, I mean,
That's
in an
not biased
ideal
at all.
world, it would be amazingly good and free, right?
Yep. Are you averse to giving the odd bribe? Nah. I don't think the situation is actually that bad. I would never. I would do so carefully.
I mean, I've talked to people who lived in countries where bribing's just like a thing. It makes me very uncomfortable, actually. Like, thinking about, like, that just being, like, plan A.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
So you would never?
I mean, I would.
Or would
but
you
I
do
don't
so
want
carefully?
to. Carefully.
Do you mind living somewhere that people constantly assume is way more backwards than is the case?
That doesn't bother me.
So I love it. I can handle it. I don't think people are that stupid, are they? And I would hate it.
Oh, I know people are that stupid. I can handle it.
Okay. What religion would you like to have around you a lot? Islam, Anglican Christianity, Catholicism, none.
Let's do the Anglican one.
Okay. Do you mind presenting your papers all the time? I'm assuming that means like travel papers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that. I can handle that. I love doing that. I would never do that.
Who loves doing some of
Right?
these things?
I know.
I think that's, again, like an I could handle.
Yep.
I think I'm pretty adaptable.
Yep. Do you like being armed in public?
No.
Yes, to the teeth. Yes, with a small sidearm. I would not like that. I would hate that.
I would hate that.
Okay. What disease simply doesn't scare you? Nothing scares me. Malaria, Zika virus, alcohol poisoning.
Malaria, I think.
Okay. Do you feel the need to live in a very powerful country? Quite the opposite. Not really. I need that. Yes, I prefer not.
Not really.
Really? Would you mind living in a country that is on the wrong side of America? I'd love that. I'd prefer not. I would be terrified. I like to think I could bring them back together.
Oh, yikes. Well, I know that nobody's capable of that. I prefer not.
Yeah.
I want to, like, explain all of these answers to
Right.
the quiz.
What's the furthest distance from America that you could handle? 6,000 miles? 8,000 miles? As far as it gets, baby, or 3,500 miles?
I mean, I would live anywhere, but I don't know if I want to say as far as it gets. You know, like,
Yep. So like 8,000 maybe?
sure.
Okay.
How many more questions are there on this quiz? Oh, my goodness.
1.
Okay.
What pace of life suits you?
Oh.
Frenetic or very slow, but nothing in between? A little slow, a little quick, very quick.
A little quick.
Okay.
Where should
All
I
right.
live, Ryan?
What country should you actually live in, Cheryl?
Yes.
You got Ireland.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I don't know if you're going to agree with this. You want to play it pretty safe. You love a laugh, but you need a politically and socially stable nation with a strong progressive streak and a beautiful history whose troubles are mostly in the past. You want to live in a cute little cottage, I can see that from you though, and work in a nice stable job among decent folk. Clearly, you need to be in Ireland.
That sounds cute.
Yeah. So there
yeah,
you go.
I think I would be willing to live in a lot of places, but the desire to live in a lot of places is different. So,
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, I would now like to tell you about the 10 best trips to take if you're an introvert.
Ooh.
This is not a quiz. This is a list online I found.
Okay.
I have not read it yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know what's in store for
So
us.
as you, the extrovert,
As me,
are telling
the
me,
extrovert.
the introvert.
But it starts with number 1, and I would like to start with number 10 because I think that's more dramatic.
It's way more dramatic,
Right?
for sure. Yep.
All right, are you ready for number 10?
Yep.
The Galapagos Islands.
Oh, interesting. Check.
It says, yeah, pretty much there's not a lot of people around there.
That's very true.
Okay.
That's very
Number
true.
9, Nantucket.
Is that in Canada?
It is in New England.
Oh, okay. Sorry, East Coast
Neighboring
people.
Martha's Vineyard. All right. Number 8 is Kauai.
Oh, yeah, I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah, it's that island is more lush than the other ones. It's called the Garden Island as a nickname, and it rains a little bit more there. Remote respite many introverts crave. There you go. All right. Number 7 is Copenhagen.
I've been there.
All right. How
I'm
many?
2 for 3.
All right. The next one is Zurich.
I've been there. 4 for 5.
All right. The next one is Kyoto.
I have not been there yet. 4
Oh,
for
so it's saying that
6.
Tokyo is very busy. So
Mm-hmm.
Kyoto, which is also historic, is a little slower.
Right. Didn't
So
your
that's nice.
sister talk about going to Kyoto?
Yes. And I've
In
been
her
to Kyoto
episode?
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Number 4 is the Finger Lakes, New York.
Nope, haven't been there.
And number 3 is Glacier National Park, Montana.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember if I've been there or not. I've been to Montana a couple times, but I don't remember that specific place. It looks gorgeous. All right, so you're at 4 of them so
Okay,
far,
4.
right? All right, and the number 1 place that you should go to if you are an introvert is Slovenia.
Seriously?
Slovenia is slowly and steadily making its way onto travelers' bucket lists,
Oh,
and at
that's
least for now,
hilarious.
the country remains one of Europe's most undiscovered places. Beautiful lakeside towns like Bled at the foot of the Julian Alps calm the soul, while the capital of Ljubljana has a distinct small-town feel thanks to its picturesque Habsburg architecture and tree-lined riverbanks. Foodies are also just discovering the culinary scene here, which spotlight local wines and ingredients from the country's wildflower-strewn meadows and rolling farmland.
That's so funny.
You've been to 5 out of 10 of the places on this list.
And of all of the places I've talked about in this podcast, I have probably talked about the Slovenia the most.
Yeah, and it makes sense then. I mean, I'm sure there are other reasons you love it, but that's pretty great.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I love that. All right, and I have one final list for you, Ryan.
Okay.
This is, I also looked up what are the top places for science lovers.
Oh,
So they have 22. We're gonna do
just the top 10.
top 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 10, the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm. I was there when I was a little kid,
Okay,
but I think I would enjoy it way more now.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be
Number
cool.
9, the Cabinet War Rooms in London, England.
I don't really know that that's so much a science site,
Yeah.
other than it's underground, but could still be cool.
Number 8, the Chihuly Glass Garden in Seattle, Washington.
We have not actually been there yet, but we keep talking about it, Cheryl.
I know, we got to go there.
We need to go now. It's on the list.
Number 7, Body Worlds.
That I think that's probably the Bodies exhibition. There's several of them throughout the world, I think.
Okay.
I think I know what that is. It's,
Bodyworlds.com. Austria, Germany,
Yeah.
Germany, UK,
Yep.
Ukraine.
yep. This has been to
Okay.
Seattle before. I've seen it. It's really cool.
Interesting.
Not.
All right, you're doing pretty good. How are you at with numbers now?
Oh, I wasn't counting. Should I have been counting?
I think you should because you've
Okay.
already been. You've been to the National Air and Space.
1.
You've seen a Chihuly.
Yeah, but
you
not
saw
that
Chihuly
one.
in Tacoma.
Yep.
You saw Body Worlds. All
2.
right. Our next one is the Deschutes Museum in Munich, Germany. Have you heard of
No.
this?
Uh-uh.
The Deschutes Museum features incredible exhibits, including its famed marine navigation exhibition. You can climb through the Maria, a fishing vessel built in 1880, as well as many boats. So we're seeing like engines, boats, things like that.
And it
That's
says
not
this
as
is
much
for
your jam.
science people?
Well, it's also a BuzzFeed list, so
Yeah. Okay.
and they mentioned nerds. So I don't know if they're going broad with nerds.
But does it say science nerds or just nerds?
Let me look at the top. Science nerds.
Science nerds. Okay.
It's a broad definition of science. All right, the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Have not been there.
That looks pretty cool. I'm seeing some lightning.
I like
Indoor
lightning. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's fun. All right.
Probably a
and
Tesla
then
coil.
number 4, the Okinawa Chirami Aquarium in Okinawa, Japan.
Ooh, I do love aquariums.
There are some big sharks in that aquarium.
You've been to it?
Pretty. No, I'm looking at pictures.
Oh, okay.
It has 2 million gallons of water.
It's a lot of water.
Whale sharks. It has whale sharks in it.
They have whale sharks in the aquarium?
I mean, that is a big shark.
Do you remember when we had Ashley on and she went to Baja?
Yes.
She swam with whale sharks.
Yeah. Well, they have them in that aquarium then.
They're huge.
All right. Number 3, the Aurora Borealis.
Seen it.
Cool.
Saw that when I was in Iceland. It's amazing.
Nice.
I want to see it again.
Number 2, Museo Galileo in Florence, Italy.
That is on my list. Do you remember when Jason Eds was on?
Yes.
Yep. So I don't think it was in that episode, but I've talked with him in the past, and he's been to Florence, and that's one of the places he went. And it's like, oh, you got to go there. So.
And number 1, I don't know how to pronounce it. The Hale Telescope or the Halley Telescope?
Probably Halley, like Halley's
at the
Comet.
Palomar Observatory in San Diego.
Okay. So I've been to 3 of them. 3 of the 10.
Nice. But yeah, it's a list of 22. So I will send you all these links.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, those were fun. Travel ideas. Now there's more places we wish we went to.
Which is not something that we're struggling with.
Well, I think we should look back on the last year because apparently that's what you do at an anniversary, right? Is you like
Reflect.
talk about where you've been.
We call it a reflective moment in teaching. We're going to reflect and be metacognitive.
And then what do you say after that?
Goodbye.
No.
Go to your next class. Go home.
No,
I don't know.
mean, like, what would you say to your students if you were telling them to have a reflective moment?
Oh, I would give them a set of prompts or something.
Okay. So do you have any prompts for us then?
For us to be reflective?
Mm-hmm. What are some reflective
Sure.
prompts for
So
us?
one reflective prompt would be, so what is something that has surprised you over the last year of episodes?
Oh. How many places that I realized I don't really know what they're like? I thought I had like a better grasp on places than maybe I did.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was like amazing at knowing about all these different countries or anything, but there's just been a lot of times where I'm like, I don't even know what I'm picturing here. Or, you know, I feel like you and I have been to Europe enough times that I think we both have a pretty good grasp on a lot of areas of Europe, but that's one continent, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's just been a lot of times where it's like, oh, I don't even know where to start, you know? And so that's been very cool. How about for you?
Oh, I think one thing that surprised me, and I think I mentioned it last week when we were talking to Jeff and Lisa a little bit, is in hearing so many other people and the way they travel and the wide variety, I think, in the ways people travel and plan and what people are willing to do and try. I think just how many different ways of traveling there are. Like, I don't think I knew. Like, I knew that, people travel differently, but I don't think I had concrete examples of those differences in the ways people like to travel and plan and think about travel and the things that people do when they travel and all of that stuff. I think
so
that surprised me.
Isn't that cool that we wanted to talk about the travel differences and now we're learning like, oh,
they're even more
really
than we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Nice.
Okay. Reflective prompt number 2. When did you, over the last year of podcasting, laugh really hard?
Oh, boy. I have to think for a minute.
Oh, well, then I can tell you because I know right off the top of my
All
head
right.
for me.
Tell me yours, Ryan.
When we lost our podcast to Alex Bell.
Oh.
And he just all of a sudden like turned the tables on us, and all of a sudden he was interviewing us. And it was just, I don't know, that whole thing was really funny, I thought.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was very fun. I enjoyed that. I'm gonna change the question a little bit.
Okay.
And just think about a time when I was very, I know that we laughed in the moment, but then I think I kept laughing about it later, was when KJ came on and I I realized that I didn't know that Madagascar was inhabited. Like, see, it keeps being funny.
Uh-huh. Yep.
It's probably because of the movie. I thought it was just a jungle island. I didn't know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. And you're going to have to narrow this down. But what would be one of the top places that you've heard about or learned about on the podcast that you would like to go? And obviously you want to go to all of them because that's the whole point of our podcast.
Yes.
But one of the top ones.
I think Chile.
Yeah.
Chile sounded very cool when Sarah came on in episode 19. And I've never been to South America, and I know I want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of the reasons I want to go there is because that's the way to get to Antarctica. But then also, and the other reason is because it's a continent and I want to visit all the continents, but it wasn't really more specific than that.
Yeah.
And then hearing about Chile, I was like, I want to go to Chile now. So, yeah. How about you, Ryan?
Gosh, it's hard. It's hard for me to pick. I will say this. I think some of the top places are places that I never actually had on my list. Other than, individual sites. I think when you include like the Wish You Were Here's and stuff, it's a lot harder. But if we want to talk about countries and like overall that people have mentioned, I think either Spain, because we've heard a lot about it, or maybe even Japan. Because there are some cool things in Japan. And to be honest, some of kind of like we talked about even this episode, just the population density is one of the things that as an introvert has not appealed to me about going to Japan. But even just hearing, going out into the country and hearing some of the cool, just very relaxing places and things like that. When Katie was on. Yeah. And then for Spain, I think for me, it's sort of the Barcelona area and the northern part of Spain that is more interesting to me. Sorry, Michaela.
I don't know if Malaga would be like a hit for you as much.
Yeah, I mean,
you would like it because you would like most places. But...
Yeah. So I don't know. I think those places are, yes, I think those. So we have Wish You Were Here.
Yes, we do.
Is there a place that you wished you were there the most?
Okay, can I have two?
Sure.
Do you know yours, though?
I think so.
Then you go first, because if one of mine is that one, I'll just say the other one.
Oh, I don't think mine is going to be one of yours.
What's yours?
So, and I don't remember the specific name of it, but with the Chile episode, remember how she saved part of the trip till the end and didn't say it until the Wish You Were Here?
Yes, but what was it?
It was the telescope.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere where no light pollution. And again, I don't remember which observatory it was.
Oh,
but
yeah, you freaked out.
Yeah, because that would
and she
just
saved
be
it,
so
that
cool.
was like a big surprise. Yeah. That observatory.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be so cool.
Okay, I have two.
Okay.
So one of mine, and this is another moment where like we were very surprised, kind of like with a telescope, we were very surprised. When Dawn came on and told us about the slide that goes down from the Great Wall of China. She was like, take the slide. And it was like, are we in a dream right now? Like, take the slide? That's not real. So that sounded very cool. I think another one is just like, the more you talk about Slovenia, I'm like, maybe I need to go there. And I gotta go check out that lake.
Yeah. Okay, so
it sounds awesome.
I think this is what needs to happen, Cheryl. We need to do a Spain-Slovenia trip. You take me to Spain and I'll take you to Slovenia.
Oh my gosh, can we do that? That sounds so fun. Oh, I love it.
And actually, that would totally work because we could even, if we wanted to, I know you like trains, we could take a train through northern Italy.
Oh, yes.
Because really from that part of Spain that's the only thing in between Spain and Slovenia is the northern part of Italy.
I love that. That sounds good.
Okay, it's
Let's
decided.
do it.
Done. So if all of our listeners would all contribute, then we can have a podcast trip.
Just a simple $300 per person. That's all it takes
That's it. That's super
to
easy.
sponsor a podcast host.
Right?
All right. Well, Ryan, I thought being our anniversary,
Happy anniversary.
happy anniversary, and to you listeners as well. You're a part of this.
Absolutely.
I was trying to look up questions that you should ask on your anniversary.
Okay.
You know, like a lot of like, there's all these websites about like, as a married couple that you like reflect on the last year.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, a lot of these just have to do with marriage for some reason.
That's so weird.
So I'm trying to find some that can be applied to our podcast.
Well, I mean, some of them, maybe even if they don't apply, it might be funny to try and answer.
Okay. What has been a high point of our relationship this year?
Our podcast relationship, a high
Yes.
point.
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of a cop-out, I feel like, but I think just having great guests. We've had such great guests share really cool stories.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Can my answer be the same? Because I can't pick a single guest, so then
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. It's like every time we book a guest, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
yeah. What's been a low point of our podcast this year?
I think for me, the low point hasn't been on the air. It's been just the logistics of making it happen off the air.
Yep.
This summer, like you mentioned early on, because I was gone for a month. So when we had to try and get everything figured out ahead of time so we could keep releasing episodes and all of that stuff, it was pretty complex. And then you moved this last year.
Yeah.
So there was a lot that we kind of had to trade back and forth logistically while you were moving and things like that. Like that, I think has been the most challenging part of the podcast, but I think we're back into a groove, at least for now.
Yes. Yeah. For mine would be twice we've lost audio.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, speaking of like bad logistic moments, those are just, in that editing or final uploading process, there's been a couple times where it's like, oh, that didn't work out. And so, yeah, that's been tough. Let's see. What is different in our podcast that you are glad is different?
Oh.
I think different would be like what's changed in it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm blind to it, but I don't feel like a whole lot has changed in the last year in the podcast.
Yeah, I think one thing is you and I are talking about how to kind of like conduct the interview and focus on the story in a way that's interesting.
Yep.
So listeners, we actually would love feedback on that if you have any feedback, because we're talking about like, is it best to just have them go through their itinerary, or are there other ways that we can kind of guide our guests in their storytelling that's going to make it more interesting? So I think we've been learning more about interviewing and trying to figure out like what's the best way to get the travel story and hear it and everything, and what should we ask our guests to focus on, and then what should we just kind of skip, what lags. So I think that's been cool to learn that. One of the questions on here is, where do you want to go on vacation next?
Everywhere.
Here's one. Where do you want to be a year from today?
Ooh. Well, I'm going to be ambitious, I think.
Okay.
So I would love to, a year from today, be celebrating anniversary number 2.
Yep, that's good.
And I would love to have more listeners.
Yeah,
I'd love to have a bigger audience.
Mm.
And I'd love to hear from our listeners more often.
Yes, I would like that as well.
Well, it may be... We may need to ask for more specific things, Cheryl. It's probably on us. It's not on them.
Fine.
They continue to listen every week.
That's true. No, I didn't mean about listening. I meant for tell us things, listeners.
I know, but I don't know that that's their fault.
Fine.
We gotta ask. We gotta ask specific questions, Cheryl.
I think for me, in addition to those, more countries. We have a lot of countries. Let's keep going. Let's get that map all full, And for a very selfish reason, but I'm guessing the listeners are here with me, is there's so many countries I don't know about.
Yeah.
Let's
there's so many
keep
places we
learning
haven't been
about these places,
Yeah.
Yeah. A little more Spain, we got to keep bringing Spain back and Slovenia back a little bit, but let's see if I think that's probably a good one to end on.
All right. So I think that's going to do it for our anniversary episode. Happy anniversary, Tim Wee.
Happy anniversary, our travel buds. We haven't figured out what our listener names are yet. Listeners, write in. What do you want to be called?
There you go. That's the first thing. Yeah. What should we call people who listen to the podcast?
Yes. Tim Wees.
Tim Weers. Tim Weites. Nope. These are all terrible names. We need somebody else to give us a better name.
Wordsmiths. Get at us.
Exactly. So we would love it if you are not already to go ahead and follow us on social media. We are at Timwee Podcast, TMWY for Take Me With You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
You can email us. We would love to get an email from you. So you can email us at timweepodcast@gmail.com and send us what you would like to be called. Send us what you think, how you think we could keep improving our guest interviews and what parts of the story are most interesting for you to focus on. If there are other topics that you think it would be fun for us to talk about, you can ask us about those. And also wish us a happy anniversary.
Yeah, and that was actually what I was going to say for the next one. You could call us and leave us a voicemail wishing the podcast a happy anniversary. We would love that. You can call us at 406-763-8699, or if it's easier to remember, 406-POD-TIMWEE. Please go ahead and rate and review the podcast and the episode so that it can get more visibility, so we can grow our audience base so more of you can hear about it. We would love it if you would share about our podcast on the social medias as well, whether it's this episode or the podcast as a whole, and subscribe to make sure you do not miss an episode of Season 2.
As always, thank you to Beth Reed Miller for the use of her artwork. If you want to check out more of her artwork, you can follow her at Beth Is Something. And thank you to Erica Corbin for the use of her song Round the Globe. You can listen to Erica's music wherever music is sold or streamed.
That's going to do it for the end of this episode. And as we launch into Season 2, we will be back with more guests and their travel stories next week. But until then, remember to take me with you.
Take me with you.
Can we get a sailboat chasing down the sunset as we float round and round the globe? Salty air and balmy nights, guided only by the lights above, and light love. Oh, the world is out there waiting to explore, and all our troubles here want them to be